Dr. Christine Joy Balyada will now introduce the graduate who will give a response.
Our speaker today is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Applied Corporate Management. He regards himself as someone resilient and thrives even in the most challenging situations. He sees his faith as one that has helped him discover more of himself and life's purpose. His Lasallian education has taught him not just about excellence, but more importantly, compassion and service for others, especially those who need them the most. Ladies and gentlemen, to give the response on behalf of the graduating class, may I present to you the recipient of the Gold Thesis Excellence Award in Applied Corporate Management from the Ramon V. Del Rosario College of Business, Cecil Austin Rementilla Sayaro.
Thank you, Dr. Christine Balyada, for your gracious introduction. Thank you also to the University Honors and Awards Council for the honor of being given the opportunity to respond on behalf of the graduating class. Chairperson of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Nestor Tan, University President, Brother Bernard Oca, FSC, Doctor of Education, University Provost, Dr. Robert Roleda, De La Salle Brothers, distinguished administrators, esteemed faculty and staff, and of course, the graduates of 2020. All in St. La Salle, a blessed and glorious morning to you all. So, let me be the first to say that these commencement exercises might be the first to double as a reunion. Lasallians, welcome to your second anniversary alumni homecoming. For 2 years, life has never been the same. I'm sure that 2 years ago, each of us had visualized ourselves marching down the brutalist halls of the Philippine International Convention Center, watched and celebrated by loved ones. 2 years in the making, here we are. But for many of us, some loved ones did not make it to this important day. For that, we offer a moment's silence for those we have lost in this ongoing pandemic. I too share in the anxiety most of you feel about the uncertainty of graduating in this way and at this time. However, despite our current circumstances, we still have the privilege of celebrating our journey to this moment as graduates. For some, you may be the first to graduate in your family. For others, you may be another addition to a family with a long history of Lasallians. But whatever your story may be, or in whatever way we hold these commencement exercises, we have now graduated. For this, I send my warmest congratulations to each one of you, because no effort toward finishing your degree, especially at this time, should go unnoticed. So give yourselves a round of applause. Finishing my degree, however, is one experience that actually started from another degree. Yet the step backs before I moved forward with my current degree did not happen just once, but twice. In this case, I had to take 2 steps back to move forward. Coming into De La Salle University as an accountancy student, I felt the pressure of maintaining the golden reputation that Lasallian accountants held high. For someone like me who is not inherently gifted in that field, I had to invest so much in textbooks, columnar sheets, reviewers, just so that studying would be easier. I had to invest time and endure commuting in the morning, at times even being groped in LRT 1 just to arrive before my 7:30 a.m. accounting class, commute back home to study after finishing other subjects until 6 p.m., and sometimes falling asleep in a packed jeepney. Despite all these trials that I had to endure, in my very first basic accounting course, when I was hoping for an 83 to pass, the first words from my professor during grade consultation day were, "I am sorry." Seeing my grade missed by a few decimal points, it was disheartening for sure because I had to retake the subject. I thought that, yeah, I'm always up for round 2, but not for that. I even had blockmates opting to shift out as early as then because they did not want to go through the pain and shame of retaking a course. Some were even egging me to do the same. This was my first step backward. When you trip on the first round, it would definitely make you question yourself. Somehow, I was still convinced to push through. I took the near miss as a sign to change my study habits and to work harder. And because of that, I chose to retake the course. After that first burn, I hustled harder. This time, I attended all our seminars our professor needed us to go to. Waking up way earlier than usual became a routine, just so there would be extra time for me to prepare before my 7:30 a.m. class. I would even set an alarm for me to go home early so that reviewing at home would start earlier as well. I bought a new calculator and even upgraded my glasses prescription because my astigmatism had worsened from my having to read fine print test papers. All these eventually led me to pass the subsequent courses, to pass the qualifying examination in one take, and finally reach my modular courses. Yet even with a promising performance, I found myself needing to retake some modular courses. And I even asked myself, should I have reviewed my tests thrice and not just twice? Well, for me, it was fine. Because my state of mind at that time felt that, oh, nothing's wrong with retaking. I've done it before. That step back was nothing new to me. So after retaking that modular course, everything seemed to be fine. Until I saw my raw average, and by the irony of things, I missed by a few decimal points once again. And because retaking the subject is permitted only once, this time, my time in the program was over. That was far as one could go. I didn't know what to do because I had already spent 2 solid years of my life in the program. And I couldn't blame the rules. That was when it dawned on me that this was my second step backward. It was hard for me to come to terms with the reality that the path I had chosen for myself did not come into fruition. College felt like an environment wherein mere survival was encouraged. I also fell into the trap of doing what others before me had done, applying to every degree program with no qualifying process just to survive and get through college. But I knew a mindset for surviving is one of short term, but a mindset for living is one of long term. Surviving is merely overcoming a possible end, but living emphasizes life. And when you choose life, you choose to grow. I chose to grow that day. Long-term growth was more important, and I didn't want to simply survive college. I wanted to live it. Therefore, I chose to apply to the Applied Corporate Management program. It was intriguing because back then, whenever there were students from that program in class, they were always participative in class and professional in demeanor. Giving the application process a try was important because part of me hoped to become like them. For me, it was empowering to be unapologetic about trying to become whole again. My friends asked if this was what will make me happy. because not only was I shifting alone, but I was also risking getting delayed again. But I told them that when you get used to rejection, you feel as if nothing can hurt you anymore. My step backs up to that point had taken away some of my fears. And I wouldn't have had the courage to do something that crucial without the experience of having missed retention grades and of being shifted out. I took a leap of faith despite my doubts whether I was the competent, agile, high caliber, and top of his game ACM student the management and organization department was looking for. There was this energy inside of me that made me want to work thrice as hard to be even half as good as one. And I praise God because the department never saw me as unaccomplished. And I found a new home. This was finally my move forward. I'm thankful for my dynamic blockmates and professors. I thank God for having gone through 3 internships in companies I never thought would hire me. And I even got to apply what I had learned from my previous program. Our thesis group won the Outstanding Thesis Award, and now I have the honor of responding on behalf of the graduates, especially on the centennial of my college, the Ramon V. Del Rosario College of Business. In retrospect, my Lasallian journey was definitely not a straight line, in the same way that life is not. I won't even compare my journey to a line after all the uncertainty I had to endure. Rather, my Lasallian journey looked more like a scatter plot because I had to connect the dots myself. All our step backs in the past will make sense because even if each step backward will bring us farther from where we want to be, the distance will give more clarity to the bigger picture of what we can do and achieve. More importantly, each step backward will give us a different vantage point from which we can redirect our next course of action in our lives. We are now at a different vantage point. And as our Lasallian journey comes to a close, we may be facing the greatest step backward our entire Lasallian experience has been preparing us for, graduating in a pandemic. In 2013, an international business newspaper interviewed graduates of the class of 2008, the graduating class at the onset of the 2008 Great Recession. These graduates had to enter a job market at its lowest and global unemployment rates at its highest. For one of the graduates interviewed, her first job was a veterinary assistant, a job not aligned with her advertising degree. Yet she stayed because during that period, she knew that her priorities had to change temporarily, from excelling in an advertising career to putting food on the table. After a few years, she left her vet assistant job and eventually began a corporate career in advertising. All the graduates interviewed were making less money than they had expected to make. They too acknowledged that they wouldn't have had survived without the recessions redirecting them to new or alternative ways to make a living. Despite that difficult step back in their careers, they moved forward from the recession. Since then, some of the biggest companies today were either founded or recovered after that Great Recession: Uber, Instagram, and Netflix. Graduating at this moment in history may have proven to be a challenge to start our respective careers. I'm sure that none of us expected to graduate amidst a pandemic, of a slowing economy, of headline social injustices, and of extreme political divide and disinformation. However, we fellow graduates are somewhat lucky. We still hold the power to become catalysts of social, commercial, and economic transformation. We may learn something from the graduates of 2008, but we cannot fully apply what they did in their time to our current situation. Remember, they graduated from what started as a financial crisis. Ours is primarily a health crisis. And not only does that create a struggling job market, but the physical and social interactions that are essential in commerce have now been limited. Our lives after today will be a new experience for anyone. The way we do business is starting to change, and surely our priorities will change too. There is no other generation we can ask how graduating in a pandemic was like, or what it was like for a Lasallian in the time of Corona. Our actions after today will provide those answers. When the next generation turns to us, what will we answer them? How will we inspire them? And so we must not only fully adapt to this new normal, but also foster our Lasallian ingenuity and take advantage of the new opportunities to make the most of this current situation. This pandemic may have brought us 2 steps back, but we must always learn to take that step forward. As Lasallian economics, education, liberal arts, computer studies, engineering, law, science, and business graduates, we are now called more than ever to be the discerning, innovative, and socially responsible economists, educators, free thinkers, engineers, lawyers, scientists, and business leaders Salle University and our country expect us to be. Bridging our faith and our practice, not just for ourselves, but more so for the common good. Men and women for all men and women. Let graduating in a pandemic be a challenge for all of us on how much we can answer to these times and improve our situation. Salle University has always taught us that our arrows do not simply fly, they soar. But should your arrows miss, not only can you find more arrows along the way, but you can certainly make your own. Godspeed and Animo Lasalle. May our hearts stay restless until they rest in Him. Leave Jesus in our hearts forever.
Thank you, Mr. Sayarok. Mr. Carl Belhar.